Yeah, Jordan's in the house.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and continue where we left off from last week, last episode where we were going in about men's health and we were going through looking at your data and understanding what was going on with the data and everything else. So I mentioned that I had a men's health presentation, but it's about like about an hour and a half or so. And I said I was going to wait to give you that. Well, during the week after thinking about it, I said, well, you know what? I said, let's do accomplish two things at once. So what I'm
Right.
going to do is I'm going to go over it and parts of it, then you can kind of give me feedback on some of it, and then I can decide whether or not I need to make some changes and everything else. Okay, so we're going to continue with this thing on men's health, and I think it's another way. This is a way that I am formally sharing to you about my health history of what
Mhm.
I've done and what works. And so we can kind of continue to do that. So before we go ahead, I'd like to introduce, I'm Dr. Jordan Smith, and this is my son, Jordan the third. And Jordan, show your new toy. Okay. Yeah. See, I said you had a little spill. What happened now?
Oh well, there comes a time in every motorcyclist's life where confidence uh, overweighs your skill, and when those 2 points meet on the graph, normally an accident happens,
Accident.
and that's honestly what happens. Simple and plain as that. Overconfidence, having way too much fun. One thing led to another, and yeah, I took a spill on my bike, but I'm all right. I look
That's
at it like this: any accident that I can walk away from, it was a good accident.
you.
Um, am I hurt? Yeah, I shattered my wrist, couple of broken ribs, busted lip, but that's about it. I'm fine. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. I live to see another day and learn from my mistakes.
You're almost
That's
starting to
it.
be like the evil Knievel Jordan. You know that. I mean, from your story about when you bought your first car that was manual transmission that you knew you shouldn't have been driving, from that one, from ongoing, and you walked away. I might as well start calling you Superman.
like
Oh my
like like
God. I'm gonna get you a cape.
that was one of the funniest things too, was just like when I wrecked and I popped back up, my friend was like, "You popped up like a jack in a box, just like you just popped up out the field. Like I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
Oh
Relax, I'm
Lord.
good. Don't
Okay,
worry about
so
me."
so obviously
Freaking
yeah, resilience. Okay. So this is kind of fitting that you did that because we're going to continue our talk on men's health and so what I want to do is kind of go ahead and share those things with you and so you can kind of give me feedback on it before I actually put the final product
right.
and stuff together and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we're gonna go ahead and get started on I think it's the first time I've actually did this work about sharing our screen. Yeah, let's do this.
I think we've
So,
shared screens once before, but I don't think it was anything of this magnitude.
yeah, right, it wasn't. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I entitled this thing about my health, and what the first thing I'm gonna do, uh, because it's doing that closed caption, I want to turn that off on here. Okay. Because when I do the recording, I'll be able to have it. Okay, so this is about my health and wellness journey, my battle against prostate and squamous skin cancer. So, someone that has a history of smoking, skin cancer is something that also comes up. So, it's not just lung cancer. It turns out that the skin cancer is part of, I got that primarily because of my history of smoking, of which I didn't start smoking until I went into the darn Marine Corps. So,
I was gonna say it's funny you said that because I didn't start smoking until I joined the army.
yeah, I
Once
didn't
I
start.
realized you was getting breaks every hour on the hour for taking them for smoking, I was like, say less.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So, so this is my wife for telling my story. I wanted to share my story to help others, especially my sons and my grandkids, to also kind of take a lesson from you because I wrote my very first book because you told me, hey, if I don't tell my story, who will? And then I want to be able to share my current wellness strategy for living longer, things that I've come about. The way I'm actually living now is a lot more healthier. So, part of my story has really been kind of told as a result of my 10 books that I've written. Okay, and you probably didn't know I've written 10 books now for the
I
very
knew it was
first.
a lot. I had just lost track.
Yeah, 10. So I wrote 10. So the very first one, what you
Yeah.
told me about writing the story, if I don't write it, who will, was the Annapolis Creed book that talks about my
Right.
experience at Annapolis Creed, but it actually talks about how I was raised, how I went through high school, how I went into the Naval Academy and graduated, and my experience in the Marine Corps all the way up until I left. Okay. Then facing death together was about the events of the experience I went through when my wife Joyce had gotten lung cancer.
Mhm.
Then, as a result, the enduring class of recipes I did because I wanted to capture our family recipes and send that out. Then I had shifted into the career after the Marines. I went into teaching, and as a result, after teaching about 15 years, I have become an expert in helping kids that have given up on learning. So I wrote the book, 11 Effective Strategies. Then after Joyce died, I was afraid, being an old man, I was 65, about getting up and out there in the market.
Right.
And so the way that me and Carolyn got together, because she had been a long time since she had been in a relationship, and we didn't want to make the same stupid mistakes, and we were content of not getting married. Matter of fact, when we got together, we actually came up with this checklist of we call showstoppers. We know
Hmm.
because when we were in the early relationships, there was things in a relationship that you didn't like, but you thought you're going to change. Rule number one, you ain't going to be able to change nobody. Okay.
Right.
So we put those things together and then we got on the phone and actually asked those questions honestly, openly, about things. And as a result, then I wound up writing a book that was about it to share. Freedom Code Writers was when I got selected by Amazon as the Amazon Future Engineer Teacher of the Year. And
I
one of the
remember
big
that.
problems was trying to how do we get females and how do we get more people of color involved in computer science because the industry for the future moving forward needs diversity in programming because the demographics of the United States has changed in that.
Right.
So that's what that one was for. And the last one, because the last years I worked in an alternative school where we had kids that came in, as we mentioned about the trauma, we were talking about PTSD. So I'm talking about kids that have PTSD and how myself and other teachers were able to get these students to turn them around. They had shut down, they had given up hope. And the book is about real life stories that actually happened, but I changed them into fictitious characters. So that's what I wrote those books. It was a way of me, it was actually therapeutic for me to do that. So then I like famous quotes. Here are some of them I got. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. We definitely heard that. History is a vast early warning system. And if
Oh
we do
yeah.
not learn from history, we're bound to live through it. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Oh,
just reading
yeah.
the
Yeah, that
famous
one's
quotes
for
that
Alex.
you
Yeah,
read.
that was with Norman Cousins. Let's see here. To disregard the lessons of the past is to court the tragedies of the future. Here's another one, number 7. That's me. It was in my book. Understanding the past is the first step towards avoiding its darkest echoes. Ooh, I like that. That was there. I think I think I was having a nice cocktail than a glass of wine when I did that, but
Hey,
that
hey,
was good.
honestly,
Yeah, it was good
that's I was gonna say, honestly, that's probably when the majority of the best quotes and philosophical,
for
thoughts and
sure.
things of that nature come about because it allows us to sometimes temporarily quiet the extra noise that is going on in our head sometimes.
Here's this one. Ignorance of history is a form of blindness that ensures we walk straight into old traps. Yep,
Yep.
definitely. Our failure to learn from yesterday turns today's choices into tomorrow's regrets. And here's number 10. You don't just inherit the world from your ancestors, you inherit their mistakes too, unless you learn from them. And that's
Yep.
really why we're doing this. This is why I'm doing this. Because before we started doing this, before you called me up and we actually said, all right, we're going to do this. And then I mapped out, I said, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do 25 episodes for season 1. And that's what we've done. Matter of fact, this is the fifth episode. And you know what is great about that? When I did
We're
it, I was
officially past the
past.
original season.
We are officially past the original season, and we've done it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Okay, we've done it in a couple of weeks. So this whole thing, the reason for doing this was the fact that I can pass on stuff. Okay, so that's what this whole health presentation. Of course, I'm a teacher. That's what I do, and so that's why it's done this way because I do presentations, and so here are the things. So my mom died of an aneurysm at age 45. My mom, with your grandma, was a smoker. My dad died, which is your grandfather. He died at roughly the age of 73. I never saw my dad fall out drunk. Never did. But he did have his highballs virtually every day I remember. Okay. I don't remember a day, but that I did see. But he also had prostate cancer. My brother, roughly about age 45, because he knew about his dad having prostate cancer and he was still on active duty, he had told his flight surgeon and they started checking for prostate cancer by his PSA. So they found it early because his PSA went up. They went thoroughly in there and did the screening and found it. They used the small radiation balls that actually went in there and placed those in. And my brother, he's been cancer free for 21 years. So the thing is, yes, it's in our family. But the thing is, because of awareness, we're proactive and we're going to go look at it. And when we
right,
find it, we can fix it. And all you're doing is following the things that I've done, okay, to help eliminate that. So my father had prostate cancer. My grandfather on my mother's side had prostate cancer. I've had a history of blood pressure. High blood pressure has been on inside of the family, and also high cholesterol kind of goes with that. Okay, so those are the family things which are in there, and the other one is the squamous skin cancer, but that was associated with smoking. So this is my work history of what I've done. Started out in the Marines, graduated from Annapolis. You're aware of that. Then I went to Marine Reserves. I did 10 years active duty. Then I did 10 years in the reserves. From 1986 to 2000, it was like me wandering in the desert. Okay, so I did financial services. I worked with IDS, American Express. I did life insurance sales. I did car sales. I've been a DJ, a KJ, been a bartender. I've been a club manager. And those are all the things that I've gone through. Then I woke up and was able to become a high school math teacher and computer science, and I did that from 2004 to 2024. And at the very end of that, what happened out of that was that Amazon Future Engineer named me a Teacher of the Year. So I was like one of let's say 10. I think it was one of 10 or either 50, I forget. I mean, but there was like 20,000 applicants, and
right.
I got picked out of that. They also gave me $30,000.
Nice.
I did that. Yeah, nice. Ching. 5,000 was for me, 25,000 I used in the school. I totally revamped my classroom to put big 75-inch flat screen TVs, brand new computers, gaming chairs. I got rid of the little plastic damn
The
traditional,
little plastic
yeah,
hard chairs
hard
they
chair.
make everybody sit in.
Yeah, I got rid of those, and we got gaming chairs. So I bought 100 gaming chairs. I mean, not 100. I bought 25 gaming chairs. We had new computers. It was all sweet. I bought robotics, all that stuff. The 5,000 I had, well, I virtually gave it to my wife. So because I was spending so much time away from home. So,
Right.
that was a smart thing that got me out of there. But because I did the Teacher of the Year. Then Amazon came up with this teacher ambassador program, and I had submitted for that as well, and I got selected. So,
Nice.
and that's a cohort that was for 2 years. That's why I was in Cleveland because Amazon sent me to Cleveland to attend the Computer Science Teachers Association. They sent me this year. They sent me last year. They paid for everything: my airplane, my food, my
Nice.
travel, everything, my registration for the conference, everything, top class. This time in Cleveland, I was actually in the same hotel that they filmed the newly released Superman movie. I was
Okay.
actually
Okay.
in that hotel. I actually lived in that hotel. It was the Hyatt Regency. They call it in the arcade. So that's that scene where Superman and Lois is up, with floating up as they were, guess what, were kissing. That
Hmm.
was inside this arcade. So I
Okay.
was actually there. So I've been a self-published author that I talked about, and now I'm a wellness educator. So in other words, I want to help people improve their opportunities for living by being preventive instead of positive. So here's my health history. These are all the things which are in my medical record of things I've gone through. Hypertension, which is what's connected to the high blood pressure. That was at age 53. Cancer of the prostate. Uh, they actually officially in my record say 2009 because that was really when my PSA was at normal. But I didn't get classified with it, diagnosed with the prostate cancer where they found it until 2023. So that was 14 years of abnormal. And when they did find it, I had a Gleason score of 6, which was stage 1. In 2015, also at age 61, I was pre-diabetic. They told me I had a vitamin D deficiency, that I had high blood fats. This was the cancer in situ, which is actually the squamous cancer in 22, prostate cancer 23. They did radiation treatment uh, to treating the prostate cancer in the summer of 23. My prostate was actually enlarged. When my PSA was high, that
Mm.
indicates that you have an enlarged prostate. So when they were doing the rectal exams, they kept on saying that my prostate was big. And I didn't know, I really didn't understand the significance, but now I know that's not a good thing because
Right.
the larger your prostate, when it's enlarged, what it's going to do is cut down the flow on your urethra, which means you're going to have problems pissing. So then I also, part of that was because I was not emptying my bladder, I started pissing out these little pink stones. There wasn't kidney stones because I wasn't in pain, but they were just popping out. And so when I finally told my urologist about it and we went
Hmm.
in and took a look at it, I had a honeycomb. I mean, it looked like a
Hmm.
honeycomb that was packed. I mean, I had hundreds of these little things that were just there and they were just starting to break off. But that's because of my enlarged prostate. Okay, so those are things that we want to watch out. Callus stone in my bladder. And then the last one, I went to go see the dermatologist. Remember we were talking about how some doctors don't tell you every damn thing?
Hmm.
So I had an echogram where they go and do uh, it's like a sonogram, but do completely working, focusing on your heart, where it
Right.
examines the arteries and everything. And when they actually did that, when it came back, the doctor said everything was okay. Well, when I went to the dermatologist about my skin cancer here to have that removed, that the dermatologist pulls up and he says, "Oh, well, this was when he gave me my report, my summary. This was at the top of it." I said, "What the heck is this shit?" And then I had to type it in to AI to go figure out what it was. And what it is actually connected to the high cholesterol
Yeah.
because your arteries gets clogged and you have three main arteries, okay? The one in your neck, the one about your heart, and the one
Hmm.
in your gut. And if any one of those pop, you're screwed. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they put that in there. And again, my doctor didn't say anything. Well, that's when I started getting on this thing about the health kick and started to look at everything and started reading. Because if I hadn't have been with that mindset changed, I wouldn't have saw that or actually go and actually start looking at it. And that's when I really started working. So on my thing. So I've had medical procedures, 6 prostate biopsies. I've had prostate radiation treatment. I had this TERP, which was when they went in. When I had the problem with the acid stones in, they went in and the doctor said, let's get rid of the BPH. So
Right.
they went in and they cut the prostate so that back to the normal size and cut it so I had a clean flow. And end result, instead of having to take medication like the Flomax, I don't have to take that no more
Okay.
because they cleared it out. So since I told the doc, well, I'm out. Do what you want to do. You know, just make me better. That's the only time I do that. So that's what those things. And I've had three colonoscopies, and I'm due for one more. And then once you get 73, I think they stop doing them. There's no need. They're saying the risk has been reduced. And
Right.
if you get colon cancer at 73, oh well, you lived a good life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
They're
um,
like, you live long enough.
yeah. So those are the things. Here's the medication. I've been taking blood pressure medicine, my cholesterol medicine, but the Flomax I just mentioned, but now I don't take that anymore. So here are the major health that says Heath, but it should be health radar issues. So I got to change that. Is I need a healthy heart. I don't want to be a diabetic because I don't want the damn needles being stuck in me. Prostate cancer, I know the family history has been there. I've won round one and it's there. My PSA, I'm always going to monitor it. Kidney disease is something to take a look at. Um, that's going on, and that's just with everything. If you're not taking care of your gut, you're going to be susceptible, like you said. The colonoscopy is also checking out the diverticulitis, and I do know when I looked at my report, I did have some things that was concerning that because they had removed pulps and everything else. And you get two of those. I guess we have to go. There's diverticulitis, but there's another
Yeah.
one that sounds just like it. One is a minor one, and the other one
Yeah.
is where you're
It's a
approaching
major one.
colon cancer. So I don't have the one with
Right.
colon cancer, but I did have the other where it's showing wear and tear that was of concerns. But I have no medications or anything else. And then mental health, that's the next thing, my fear thing. I don't want to. I've already seen. I live in a 55 and older community,
Yeah.
so I've seen firsthand people how they changed and going to the dementia Alzheimer's. Oh no, it's not good. So I know that I need to exercise my mind. That's why I retired. When I retired, I had enough money. Matter of fact, I had a six figure income as a retired.
Hmm.
I didn't have to get out and do anything. I could have just become a couch potato and just sit on the
Right.
couch. But guess what? I seen what happened to people who don't become active. So, no, I much rather make sure I die with my full faculties, but I know that it takes work. But that's what we're doing here. See, I'm doing stuff that most 71-year-old men that have my income are not doing. They just say, hey, I'm just going to take it easy.
Right.
No, I'm not done yet. I can relax once I put this model that we're working on about this generational wealth and all these things together. So, those are my big things. Most feared of all those was losing my mind. I didn't want that. Okay. And I do know as I started thinking back, my grandfather, when I came back from Okinawa and found him in the corner
Hmm.
with his blood on the side of his head, because, his son, my uncle, had beat him up trying to steal his check and stuff. Grandpa wasn't really right after an incident. And it was an incident in the family that they didn't tell us, me and my brother Kenny, when we were younger.
Gotcha.
But there was an incident with my uncle and my grandpa that somebody got shot, and I don't know why. It wasn't my
Gotcha.
grandpa, but my uncle disappeared, and I didn't know what all went, and I never will probably what all went on. But um, but he did. He was losing his faculties. He would sit in a corner and just sit there and mumble. Okay, so those last years were not good. Don't have brain injuries. I didn't play a lot of football. Good, and so, but these are the things that were on my mind. So we went over PSA last time and we
Right.
discussed how these are the levels. So in my case here, I had been when I was in my 40s. They didn't start. See, my 40s. I never looked at it because I wasn't concerned with it. No one told me anything about the PSA. Um, it was that now I remember when my brother was telling me about his prostate cancer, it went in and went out the other. I didn't know what the PSA was connected to cancer. If I known it was a marker for cancer, then I probably would have paid attention, but nobody told me.
Right.
Um, but I know that for me, if you look here on the scale here, you see where it says 70 to 79, see where it says 6.5.
Hmm.
My PSA had been for 10 years above 6.5 in my 50s and 60s. that was a marker. It says something is wrong. Okay, something is wrong. But so that's why it's important. And we mentioned about about my other son John. Okay, so his PSA is abnormal, which means we need to get checked. Doesn't mean you get the cancer,
Yeah.
but it does mean that there's something wrong. And if it's on the abnormal, what we need to do is make sure they do an MRI with contrast. If it's if
Well,
it's over this four, you're going to demand an MRI with contrast.
yeah.
Okay, because that's how you can actually find it. Now, one of the things you can do, and I'm going to be experimenting and take a look at, is you've heard of Lifeline, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Carolyn's been bugging me about going in and doing Lifeline, and I'm thinking, well, I've already been to my doctor and I've been doing my MRIs um, that did the full body contrast and stuff, but they won't do that and fire up that machine unless they have reason or evidence about that because it's
Right.
not cheap. Okay.
Yeah.
But Lifeline offers a thing of scanning of about it that you pay for, but they look at things. So we're going to actually explore. We're actually not going to explore. We're going to get it done. Because remember, I think
Okay.
of that last thing about the aorta, whatever that
Hmm.
long word with that A for the aorta, it's
Yeah.
looking at those things. We're going to go in and get that scan. So when I go and get that
Okay.
scan done, then I'll come back and actually share that because that is like $160 or so.
Okay.
160, $170. So that's
Wow.
one way that if your regular insurance won't pay for it, you can pay for it out of your pocket. Another thing on the PSA, when we were talking about, you're talking about the VA. So guess what? I
Hmm.
went and did my research. Yeah, so I want you to write down the name Lab Core. And when I do the video and do the editing, I'm going to put the link up so that other people in the audience watching it, they can go there. It's called Lab Core, just LAB and Core, CORP.
All right. Hold on.
Okay. So Lab Core is what I did was a Google search. I said PSA, how to get a PSA test without a doctor. That's what I did. And it came up with about like three, but one is LabCorp. It has like 2,000 locations. It costs $69 to go get a PSA test. You can
Oh.
just make the
Okay.
appointment. You can go ahead and make the appointment and do that. Okay. Do that PSA test. So that way there's no excuse. You don't have to wait. It's about dealing with the VA. On this, you need to pay the $69 and get it done. Okay. But we're going to talk about how I'm going to do it because I'm going to probably go ahead and work it through the company. So the company's going to pay for it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So then that way we'll get it done and we'll look at your results and we'll be able to discuss and stuff on it. So this is what has happened in my history. Okay. On my PSA. You see here when it said 10, and remember I told you what
Hmm.
happened at 10. That was when me and my wife decided we just got together. So 7 out of 10 days, that wasn't good for a PSA test. Rule number one, when you have your PSA test, highly recommend that you abstain and do not have any sexual activity for at least 72 hours. Okay.
Gotcha.
I know when you look at theirs, they're going to say no more than 48. Take it from experience. Wait 72 hours. If you actually wait a week, that's even better. And so sometimes I would go ahead and ask my doctor to put the lab test in. So if you have regular insurance, you can call your doctor. He can schedule it and then it's open, that you can
Yeah.
go whenever. And that's what I did. I have him schedule it and then I would wait until I had a gap there. So,
Okay.
and then whenever I had like 3 or 4 days and I knew that no, we weren't going to be getting it on, then I go get my PSA test and then I can come back and celebrate. When my
Right.
PSA test is done, I was freed out of jail. So, but anyway, it was there. But I want you to see here, see in May of 2021, see it's above 6. Okay. My PSA had been steadily up here. All these marks and everything else were above 6, above 6.5. But I was in my 50s and 60s. Okay.
Right.
Then around here where you see a drop, that was when we had found it, and then I had my initial radiation treatments, and you see it started dropping down and down, and then but see it started creeping up
Hmm.
right here. It started creeping back up. Okay, that was when I decided to get serious about other things about my prostate. And I started reading more and started doing my own research and finding what all was helpful to support that. And as a result, then I started on my wellness kit. That's when
Okay.
I changed my diet. That's when I started doing this peak performance vitamin box that I use. That's the only thing I take. I started doing all of that. Okay. And as a result, look what happened to my PSA. Okay. And I know it's because of the peak performance, but I'm also taking a vitamin supplement for my prostate. I've done the other stuff that was out of the stores and everything else.
Hmm.
The shit didn't work. It didn't have everything in it. But the main thing is this: all vitamins are not the same. Okay.
Right.
If you take it and it doesn't dissolve and break down to do what it's supposed to do, you just wasted your money.
Yep.
And so I had like the first things I had was my vitamin D deficiency. My doctor told me I had vitamin D, and I went to CVS. I went to my Stater Brothers, my grocery store, and got the stuff off the shelf. It said D3. I was taking it. Every time I go back, he go ahead and check it. He says you're still vitamin D deficient.
Yep.
Okay, then I changed. So when I started getting everything from my wellness company, guess what? Then it went away. So guess what? I'm sold. I only use this because it works. I know it works.
Right.
So there's the PSA. So my PSA right now is at point 0.1. I've gone from 10 down to point 0.1. And if you remember that chart, I'm below, my PSA is below the level for someone that's in their 20s.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say that's below the level for freaking someone in my age bracket.
Yes, yes, yes. So next here is my HGB. We were talking about your things on as far as the HGB, and at first, mistakenly,
Hmm.
I thought your numbers that was the 12.8 was was the same as mine, but they're different. So this is HGB A1C, which is checking for my uh, chances of diabetes. Now I want you to look at my chart here. So what do you notice when you look at my chart? What do you notice?
Uh, Significantly went down. It looks like to be within the healthy range. I'm guessing that's what that 5.5 to that, yeah, that range in there where the green dots are. That's
Yeah,
your
this
good
is
range,
right,
right?
right. So those are green, but look at all these.
Yeah.
And look at this one. This was in March of 2024. What happened? See, it spiked up. So we got one, two, three, four, five, six, which are in the good zone.
Hmm.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, which is out. But here's the thing. For consistency from 2014, okay, all the way down up in here, they have been at normal. I mean, the level was not diabetic, but it
Right.
was pre-diabetic. Okay, pre-diabetic. Okay, the doctors never gave me
Doctor didn't
anything.
say nothing.
No, he has not given me anything of recommending of doing things changes to impact my H1C. So as an African American, guess what? I was on it's in my genes. I was already on the track to become diabetic. If I was overweight, being diabetic is on the railroad track. The train has already left the station. Okay, and he didn't do anything. So when I decided to change that total wellness and I did the peak, this is what happened. Okay. So this was in
Okay.
March of 24. That's when I started taking all
Hmm.
the peak, and look what happened to it. It
Nice.
dropped to the lowest point that I've ever had. Okay. You see how far it dropped? It was here and it dropped significantly. Okay. Because of that pack. So we talk about cholesterol. And there's different types. When you talk about cholesterol,
Yeah.
I normally get but you have, here's the main thing we need to understand. The three main ones that we need to look at. One is HDL. That's the good cholesterol. So you want to get a high number on your good cholesterol. The LDL is the bad. So if your LDL numbers are high, that's where you're going to be approaching either problems with your kidney disease, or you're also going to have problems with your having a heart attack and a stroke. It's going to be there. Okay. And the VLDL, but they also call like here as far as the bad. So those are things. So when we look at the cholesterol numbers, so and here are the things, the most common cause of unhealthy lifestyle. Here they are: lack of physical activity. So if all you do is sit and you don't do exercises, you're killing your good cholesterol. If you smoke, it's going to raise your bad cholesterol. And stress, if you're stressing over crap, that's going to also increase your cholesterol. And it says drinking too much, that's going to raise it. So even
Yep.
if I had the conversation like this, the doctor said, "Hey, your cholesterol is up. Jordan, you need to look at these things." Or and he don't have to say, "Stop doing this, stop doing this, stop doing this." All he got to do is say, "Here are four things that you can do to lower your cholesterol.
Yep.
Which one of those do you think that you can work on?" And a lot of times, you're not going to work on all at the same time. I know at the time points when I was smoking for a reason because I was in the high school and there were other factors that was going on there about job. There was a lot of stress. So
Right.
I smoked more than I drank. So that was my combination and stuff. Okay. So, but the thing was to tell me about these things. Next, so triglycerides. Notice this triglyceride number here where it says it needs to be below 149.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now look at my history. What do you notice up there?
At first, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah, look at it. Yeah, I'm supposed to be below 149.
Yeah, you were at two something.
I was at two something there. And 200, that's from 2006 to this is like here, this
Yeah,
first
like
one
you
is
said,
still
about
200 to
about
like
10 years.
2000. Yeah, about 10 years. Okay. And
About 10
then
years, it was well above.
10 years, right? Well above. Okay. And then here, I can tell you what happened here. See this port up in here
Mm-hmm.
where it is, it's probably below that 149. Those were the initial times when uh, oh, I tell you what part of that was when Joyce got diagnosed with the ovarian cancer, and the doctor told her that she had to stop smoking or the cancer was going to come back. And so
So you stopped smoking with her.
that was a lifestyle adjustment there. Okay, so we had I stopped smoking. So I was going from smoking a whole pack or so to stop smoking. I was teaching, so I wasn't up out in the clubs and stuff as much. So that had started to decrease. But also during this time, I had also started uh, taking some of the vitamins, the peak
Mm-hmm.
performance. I had just learned about the peak performance vitamins, but I wasn't sold on the concept, and so I didn't take them all the time. I took them sometime, and I did see the drop and stuff. But then you see where it says 219, you saw when when it went up. A couple of
Mm-hmm.
things happened. Tell you what that is. One, 219, and that looks like just about roughly about March of 2020. We know what happened then. Pandemic hit.
Yep.
Pandemic hit, shut down. Two things. One, I know that the amount of alcohol I was drinking definitely went up during that
Yeah.
time point.
I was gonna say you and
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah, the stress went up. Okay.
Definitely.
The other thing was that I wasn't ordering stuff that was being delivered to me. So, for instance, because the vitamins and stuff I get, I order them online and
Yeah.
they deliver to me. But during that time, I didn't want deliveries.
Because they didn't
So,
want to buy around you.
yeah. So I stopped. Okay. Actually stopped. And that was actually supported by one of the research things that says once you do this and you start taking the vitamin supplements that work, and if you stop, what's going to
Hmm.
happen? Things are going to go back to how they were before. And that's the
Yeah.
same thing. If a person's an alcoholic and all of a sudden they stop and then all of a sudden they start to drink again, they're going to go back to the same level, even worse than the way they were before they began. And the
Every
same thing
time.
on here. If you're doing
Every
something, if you're
time.
exercising is working, but if you stop it, the stuff is going to go back. So do you see this drop? How it went up here and all that drop right up in here was when I started making changes on that. And part of that was relationship with Karen because she didn't like that stuff.
Right.
So the amount of alcohol consumption I had drastically decreased. But then I also started on the peak performance vitamins, and you see what happens to the triglycerides. We want the triglycerides to be as low as possible. And
Got
that's
it.
March of 2024. And then what happened? So that's it went down to March 2024. And you see here and here June 12th, my last one is dropping. Why? Because I must be doing something right
Right.
for those things. That was a 38% improvement in my triglyceride. Here's my cholesterol that was at high. Look at this. Supposed to be below 199. What did we see
Good
again?
grief.
What was my doctor doing?
Good grief. Not telling you.
Yeah.
That's what your doctor was doing. That's another case right there. Look, another 10, almost 10-year span there where your levels were well above what they needed to be, and no one said anything. Actually,
Yeah.
that's longer than that. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a
That's
minute.
2006.
Good grief. All the way up basically
This is
until
16
COVID.
year 2006, and this is about 22. Yeah, it's about 16
Up.
years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now at this point, right here, where you see the drop, was that was when he decided to give me cholesterol prescription medicine.
Wow.
Okay.
After all of those years.
After all of those years.
So why ain't he
Okay.
give it to you in '06?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Well, I actually happened to change doctors right after the pandemic and stuff too. But still, that doctor actually saw me in the 2, 3 year test and was all up high. And then finally, and really, because I started asking questions, okay, but
Mm,
then he put me on the cholesterol medicine then. But then it dropped. But then I also started, it dropped. But then you see where it was dropping. But then guess what? See, by March, I was dealing with prostate cancer and everything else
and
and
it started to
stress.
go back
You
up.
see, it started going up. And that's when I decided, no, I'm gonna keep it. So look what happened. So that was in March. It was when I started to doing the peak. And what happened? See now it went up. Now it went back down. Okay. So I had the peak performance. So my cholesterol over all this time had been at 255. But the way I changed my lifestyle now, my cholesterol is down at 128. And I give you a prediction. When I have my next blood test in 6 months, my cholesterol is going to be even lower. I
Okay.
already know that because there was another supplement that they came out that I'm taking in addition specifically to concentrate. There's the whole thing. If you know what your health problems are and your risk, all you need to do, if you go ahead and do a search on the internet, whatever, the information is out there that tells you. Like, for instance,
Right.
going to sleep at night. You got problems sleeping at night. It tells you the research says you need to take some magnesium. Okay. So I just started researching and everything else. And look at this. This is my HDL. Now, HDL is supposed to be greater than 40, and it had always been virtually up in there. It has started, you can see right here, it started to fall again. There's my March. Okay. So something
Mm,
was going on. But then on the peak performance, look what happened. Boom. Increased by 20%. And that's the good stuff. I want that to be good up on there.
right.
The LDL, that's the bad cholesterol. Look at how my it's supposed to be under 99, right?
Yeah.
And
Another
look at that.
situation where
Look, look.
doctor doctor seen your levels was high for years and didn't say jack.
Didn't say Jack. Okay. Then see it was down, and then see it started creeping up again. And that's when I took control. I said, oh no, hell no. Started on the peak. And then what happened? It went down, decreased by 24% improvement. That was just in the first 6 months. I already know my next numbers are going to be better because I've been on it. I stay on it. Okay. And then here's the ratio. Now, when I read this before, it says cholesterol and HDL. What they're doing, that slash is actually meaning divide. So you take your overall cholesterol score and you
Mm,
divide it by the HDL, and then you get that ratio. So it's supposed to be again below 3.9, right? And I'm
yeah.
up here bouncing all up over in here, and then you can see here what the heck, and then it started going down
Dropping back down. Yeah.
and down, and it started going back up. And I said, hold up, wait a minute. And then that's when on the peak performance vitamins, and look what happened. It
It
dropped.
dropped.
It dropped right where it's supposed to be doing. Okay. So This is my cholesterol non-HDL. So we can see again, it was kind of erratic up in here. He put me on the cholesterol medicine, so it kind of dropped, but then it started going up. Then I went on the peak performance, and boom, it drops by 23%.
Nice.
And here's the not last one, testosterone. We talked about that. About as you older, I mean, as you younger, your testosterone is up, but then it slowly
Hmm.
drops and decreases over time. Okay. In May, my wellness company had announced a new product that was specifically attacking. And for why this is important for prostate cancer is that when your testosterone levels drop, it converts to DHT. And the DHT is what you don't want because that fuels your prostate and prostate cancer. So you want to maintain healthy levels of testosterone. Okay. So in May, I had already been taking the other numbers you saw. I take the prostate supplement that they have, which is called Prostavan. So that's what I take instead of the other stuff that was in the stores that helped my PSA get down to point 0.1. And I still take it every day. Every day I take that supplement. Now they came up with something that was supporting the testosterone levels. So it came out in May, and I had not. I went back, and the last time I had it was in 2023 when they found out I had prostate cancer. You see, it was low. So the lower
Hmm.
your level of your testosterone, the higher your risk is for getting prostate cancer. So mine had, you see the range here, 221 to 716. Okay. My level was at like 250. So I was bottoming out. Guess what? I was opening the door for prostate cancer to come in.
Right. Because your test levels were
Yeah.
low.
So in May, they came out with this new supplement. So I take that Prostavan every day, but now I started taking this because this stuff also, the other thing is when your testosterone levels are up, you're also in good operating
Yeah.
condition in the bedroom. Okay. Ain't no issue. So I've had all this work done to me, radiation and everything else. Old grandpa 71, still working fine. Yeah. So, but now you notice, guess what? When I started taking the supplements and look what happens. So now I take that. Why? Because my testosterone levels, I had just had a 40% increase. My testosterone level at 71 is going up.
Right.
Okay. So those are, and here's the last thing, creatine. Creatine, and I started looking at that mainly because that was concerning kidney disease.
Right.
Okay. When you start talking about the with the diverticulitis and stuff like that, those are also early signs besides the colon cancer are working on these. And so I went to get that tested, and it was so I went and got that tested, and then what did it do? I think it dropped. Peak performance improved by 26% on my
Nice.
kidney function. The regular creatine levels specifically looked at that. I had an 18% improvement. And so those are all the things that I'm going to go ahead and stop them here today. That I've given you a history of my health, the things that I was concentrating on, but I also showed you that you can prepare yourself and take preventive measures and what it will do. It may not. What it will. There's no way that anybody can guarantee that you're not going to get prostate cancer. Matter of fact, you have a high risk of actually. If I had to take a bet, I would probably say you will. But I'm arming you today with stuff I did not know when I was in my 40s. Okay.
Right.
So you're 49 now. So there's
Yep.
supplements I know that you can be taking. And that's why I contact you about your dinner. You need to be taking these because it's going to help prepare your body physically. So if you do, you're going to find out that your recovery is going to be faster. Okay. But the other thing is it can help also prevent. But the main thing here is the education. Now you are
Right.
armed. You know about the family history concerning what my health issues are. Okay. You know what to watch now because now we've gone over these numbers so that when you're getting these tests, you know to look at those tests and see the results. And now you also should know that there is action that you can take.
Right.
that can help you be more in a preventive nature. Okay.
Right.
So, and I think this is going to be enough for that segment. Uh, but I will, when I do the editing for this segment, I'm going to continue this, but it's going to go into the actual things I do because there are things I have problems with my sleep disorder connected with PTSD that I do. Uh,
Right.
oh man, and I'm just sleeping so well, but even better. I'm sleeping so well that my wife is sleeping well because she was so afraid of me lashing out and hitting
Hmm.
her while I was asleep. And for the first time, she is no longer concerned with that because she sees how I am sleeping because of everything I'm doing. And this show that we're doing is also helping me. It is it is relieving a lot of stress. It's making me feel better by knowing I'm being proactive to help you and also to help Jordan the Fourth uh, about these things because you needed to know about them. And
Right.
we're the only ones. I bet you if you ask some of your other buds and stuff, if they ever had a conversation like this with their father.
No. I know for a fact they don't.
Yeah.
Which is, why I always talk to them about how, me and you started this podcast and, about how we're having these conversations. And a lot of them wish that they could have these kind of conversations with their father, or wish that they had these kind of conversations with their father before their fathers passed on. So we're definitely doing something different, doing something positive. Like I said before, not just for us, but also showing um, other, what I'm saying, father son combinations and just future generations out there that, hey, these kind of conversations need to be had. Whether they've been had before in the past or not, doesn't matter. There's nothing stopping you from having those conversations and starting today.
Okay. So I have a question for you as we close out this segment. So typically, when you learn some information and stuff, a lot of times we'll learn it, say that's a great idea and stuff like that, but we don't follow up and actually take some action. So what I want to know, I want you to name me two things that are either good takeaways that you have or two things that you are going to do concerning your health.
Oh, well, I had already made the decision that once I figure out what's going to happen as far as the surgery goes and everything else, I have to take better steps to just get stronger just all the way around. It's not just about what just happened to me. I didn't like the way that I looked in my photos or anything on my bike or any of that nature. I didn't like the picture that I saw was not the physical representation of who I am. Sorry. Dag nabbit, watch your arms.
Whose arms was that?
Little Jordans.
Oh, little Jordan's. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, some arm reveals going on here.
So that was Jordan the fourth, right?
Yeah,
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 Oh, okay. Yeah, your
yeah,
time is coming. I hope you're hearing this
yeah,
now. So,
I know.
yeah. I'm popping him in his leg, like, boy, if you don't put your arms down, what's wrong with you?
yeah, yeah. My editor is going to pick this one out. What's the time frame on this?
Right? We gotta edit the arms out. Gotta edit the arms out.
It would be such a
Oh
But yeah,
man.
no, for me, I have that appointment. I already had the appointment already next week with my doctor, so I wanted to talk to him about, getting my numbers and everything ran again because I want to update it, PSA numbers. I want updated testosterone numbers. I want to see where all of my levels are at. So I'm not blindsided, 10, 15 years later down the line, because it looks like in your case, they knew what was going on and didn't
Yep.
say anything until they got to a point where they're like, all right, now we got to say something. I
Yep.
want to be able to get all my stuff ran, take a look at my numbers, and be able to have this conversation with you once I get my numbers back and be like, all right, Dad, this is where my HDL is at. This is where my LDL is at. This is where I'm at for this. This is where I'm at for that. What's the next plan of action?
Okay. So let me
What's the
see.
next steps that I
Okay.
need to take to make sure that I position myself to avoid a lot of the things that you've had to deal with and other family members have had to deal with?
Yeah.
Because it looks like right now I'm still kind of sort of on that line, as they say. We've been
Yeah.
seeing some signs. We've already seen some signs, but we
Mhm.
haven't seen the other signs yet. And
Yeah.
to me, that just means that, all right, you're eventually on that border of this can go south real fast
Yep.
if you don't get your life and your health together,
Together. Definitely.
which is another reason why I believe what happened on Tuesday happened. Because if that hadn't happened, I would have just kept going day to day. Like, I'm just me. It is what it is. But it opened my eyes and it let me know that, yeah, no, I'm in a lot worse shape than I think I thought I was, which
Hmm.
lets me know that, hey, there's a better version of me in here that I need to get back out again.
Yep. Yep.
Because that's the version of me that's going to live the longest. That's the version of me that's going to be the healthiest. And so for me, now it's a matter of I'm frustrated with myself because now I know the things that I need to do, but I can't yet do them
Right.
because now it's like, all right, well, I got to have surgery first, go through recovery, go through, physical therapy if that's necessary, and all of those kind of things. And then I have to take it one step further. Like, all right, now I have to recover from that. But at the same time, now I have to fix everything else that's wrong.
Hmm.
You know, I have to take a more active approach. Just walking to and from work just isn't enough.
Yeah.
Uh, there has to be major changes, not just
Yeah.
to my diet, but to my supplement routine and also my workout regimens and routines going forward once I'm healed. Yeah, because just walking to and from work is not cutting it.
No.
I
And
need to do more.
the big key um on the recovery. So it's a couple of things, but one, I've been able to maintain part of the change besides the supplements and everything else. But the other thing was eating, the change in diet on eating. I let Carolyn decide that and we influence and we talk about that. So I got rid of a lot of the red meat, but the only red meat that I do eat is red meat that's organic, grass fed
Right.
and everything else. But the thing on the exercise was that we exercise together. So because of that, then they got in the habit. And once I did it for the 21 days, Carolyn had already been used to working out like three to four
Yeah.
times a day. I mean, 3 to 4 times a week. And she had been
Right.
doing it all her life. That's why she looks so well. She does not even look her age. Matter of fact, when we went out last night, remember I said we were going to the
Yeah.
Elton John thing and everybody was 65 and older. Well, those people look 65 and older and plus. They were
Right.
walking like that. Okay. But we were up there walking around, I'm at 180 pounds and I can press 220 right now. But that I wasn't like that 2 years ago. It's only
Right.
because of getting in this regimen with Carolyn and getting exercise. Exercise is part of my living routine. It's a habit. Every day we eat, but after we eat, we exercise. We're doing 30 minutes of cardio, either on the elliptical or the treadmill while we watching our own
Right.
TV show. So we have a TV series that we pick out and we do that for our exercise, but we only watch that TV series when we
You're
exercise.
working out. Got
So
it.
that we can't watch it on regular TV. It's only with exercise. It's like I've learned how to put attachments to things that motivates me to go there. So I'm motivated because we both are doing it at the same time. And I'm also motivated because we have our own show. So my workout room, and I probably have to give you pictures and stuff, and I'll send to you, see how we got set up. But that's something that you will want to have. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is when you go to your doctor and you're going to get all your tests done, this is going to be your baseline. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is that then we're going to put you on the supplements and stuff that I got. Okay. And we're going to do that for 6 months. Okay. So when you go to the doc, tell them you want your blood work and everything else done, but tell them you want to already schedule a thing for your blood work.
For
And you
six
can do
months
it
out.
6 months afterwards. Okay.
Right.
And if you got any issues and stuff on that, that's okay because then what we're going to do, just like I told you about LabCorp, we will go ahead and look and find a source where you can go ahead and get your blood work done. Okay. And well, just have the company go ahead and pay for it. Okay.
Right.
So we do that. So the other thing on this, the one thing is about the wellness company I got is the fact that they have a 90-day challenge. So by you taking the vitamins, and if it doesn't work, or if you don't feel good, or if it's not you don't feel any changes and effects and stuff off it, then they have a money back guarantee, 100%. You just say this stuff ain't working for me, and they will refund. Okay, but I'm going to help you when we get started to do that, because this is going to be part. It's part of the whole thing, because we're going to continue and get back and share it on the show.
Right.
Okay, so as a result, we'll be able to figure out how they work it out, so it's not going to impact you financially and stuff like that initially. Okay, but we're going to do that. Okay, so with that in mind, I think this is a wrap for this episode.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I really have. I'm just enjoying it. See, if we weren't doing this, I probably wouldn't even know about your arm.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
because we would have just broke stuff. I mean, you weren't just gonna pick up the phone and tell Dad, I broke my arm.
Yeah. Nah.
No,
Nah.
no, you just go on with life because it's okay.
Yeah.
If you're not dying, I would never know. So
Yeah.
that's the other-
I mean, because that's how I live my life.
that's how we
You
live.
know? I mean,
Yeah.
that's how we live.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that definitely changes the complete landscape of how we're living, then yeah, I just keep it pushing. I just keep moving. Like, oh yeah, I freaking broke my arm, missed a couple of days of work. Oh well, when I go back to work, I got light duty. You know what I'm saying? I still have a job. It's not like I lost my job or nothing of that nature. So
Okay, so we're gonna go
I'm
ahead
gonna just
and
be
wrap
up in the
this
daggone
up.
office on the computer with typing with one hand. That's all for the
Oh
next few
yeah.
months.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Artlist.io.
Oh, that's right. So now you got to type with your. Oh God, that is something. Ooh.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So like right now, I just moved my mouse pad over to the freaking other side, and I'm just using my freaking index finger. You know what I'm saying? To
Okay,
do
then
one
I think
side.
what I need to do then, when I have some other new video segments that was from the last episode. Matter of fact, I just got a message for. I have the ones for episode 3, and I have some for episode 4, which has already been done. I just got a review, but I'll send you the caption to go with it.
Okay.
So when you post it, it'll have the caption with the links and the hashtags and stuff all in it, and I'll send that to you as well. So then that way it's just a copy and paste.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That works.
Good. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and do a wrap on this, and this is episode 5, and it's right. We have made a major accomplishment because we have more episodes than I ever did with my very first one. So this is good. All right, let me go ahead and shut this one off, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. See you guys
Bye-bye.
next time.
You have been listening to Teach, Lead, and Inspire, the Legacy Series. 2 generations, 1 mission. When a Marine Corps dad and his Army veteran son sit down to talk life, legacy, and leadership, you know it's going to be real. This isn't just another podcast. It's a bridge between wisdom and action, between past lessons and future goals. Welcome to the conversation we all need, but few men ever get to have. Father, son, purpose. Let's go. Thank you for listening.
Let me give you a little advice. Love wears up up in the sky. It should come at no surprise. Can't come compromise. Once bitten, twice to shine. It's a case of roll the dice. So we should bid and compromise.